What's cooking, everyone? Ball-Bay Senpai here, about to drop the greatest cake recipe for you.
Is for me?
Just for you, and of course I'm talking about the amazing Oreo cheesecake, no bake, no equipment, just simple, thick, slightly creamy with that amazing cream cheese flavor that is guaranteed to blow your taste buds. And of course we're gonna add our own cute little touches to make this extra
せーのでもそんなんじゃダメもうそんなんじゃほら心は進化するよもっともっと
Alright, Ball-Bays, let's get to it and make this wonderful cake. First we got some beautiful Oreos. Alright, it's really not that serious. Oreos, good cookie. Alright, so we're gonna split these real quick, just like this, and what you wanna do is just separate that cream. Just like that. And I'll do it again in case you didn't see it the first time. Bam. This takes years of practice. Alrighty. Now, we're transferring these to a Ziploc bag because we're gonna do some crushy. Seal that thing up nicely, and just whack away. We're gonna get this Oreo very fine to make our crust. Doesn't have to be that fine though. Alright, next we got some butter. We're gonna cut about 40 grams worth. And this is what's gonna combine with the Oreos. Just gonna cut it to make it easier to microwave. And bam, magic. Melted. Pour that in the bag. And use them hands and just squeeze it all tightly together, and the bag will just make it very mess-free. Easy peasy. There we go. Perfect for the crust, and I highly suggest just putting your cake mold on top of the plate that you're gonna serve with. Drop in our Oreos. First, I like to break them up really quickly so they don't get too clumpy. And then just push them down nicely, but a little bit firm. Don't overboard it though. Check for evenness, and we're good to go. This is going in the fridge until ready. Cake time, we're gonna start with some gelatin, pour that in a little dish, just a tad of water, and just mix it together. Just let that sit and bloom for a couple of minutes. And now for the cake mix, we're gonna start this off with some yummy cream cheese, and make sure it's room temperature too. I like to start with a spatula because the cream cheese will just clog a whisk in 2 seconds. And you'll see what I mean if you decide to use one. But don't. Mix that up pretty and smooth while pushing down any clumps. Bit of sugar to give it that desired sweetness. And now we can start using our whisk because the sugar will help sort of liquefy the cream cheese and make it easier to mix. Mix it all up and get that smooth, silky consistency. Back to the gelatin, we're gonna pour some hot water into a bowl. Gelatin goes on top, and this is just gonna help dissolve it into a liquid state so we can put it back inside the cake mix. Just like that, and just swish it around to make sure that it's nice and liquid. Throw that in the cake mix, and of course, just continue to mix. You can go hard right now. Wait, I forgot. We gotta throw in the Oreo creams first. I should have done this earlier. Whatever. Now we can go as hard as we want. Mix. And there we go. A gorgeous consistency. Next, we got a chilled bowl. I just put in the fridge for a couple of minutes to whip our heavy cream. And yes, you can use regular whipping cream, but we want that cake thick. You know what I'm saying? We're looking for some soft peaks. You don't want to whip this too much, just exactly like you see here. Back in the bowl it goes. And at this point, you don't really want to use the whisk because you're just going to add more air in. So what we're going to do here, or what I'm doing here, is just using the spatula and flipping it over itself while pushing down, very safely and gently combining the ingredients. Soft, smooth, little thick, it's perfect. And now get our mold from the fridge and we're gonna start filling her up. Very nice and creamy, just plop it all in. Halfway though, we need some space. Smooth it out a little bit, but the most important thing here is to take your time and get rid of any air bubbles. We're gonna start crumpling a couple of Oreos inside here. I think I used about 8 or 9, whatever your preference is. And I'm keeping these away from the perimeter because I don't want to see any Oreo shards on the exterior of this cake. Back in with the rest of the filling, a few thumps up and down because I really just want to get rid of as many air bubbles as possible. And smooth out the top to make it nice and neat. And now for our Oreo crumb layer. And these are the same exact styles of crushed Oreos except no butter this time. And I used about 12 Oreos, just like the crust, to make sure that the top and bottom have a very even height. But having such a thick layer on top will certainly cause Oreo spillage when you lift up the mold, which kind of sucks, but that's life. Anyways, we're gonna fridge this for 6 to 12 hours. And here she comes, ready to reveal her beautiful self. We got a steam towel here, which I use by just pouring some boiling water onto a towel and carefully wringing it out. Apply this to all the sides for a couple of seconds, and here we go. There's that awful Oreo spillage, but oh my lord. Look how beautiful she is. Perfectly smooth ball-bay cheesecake acquired. Easy part's done, it's time to make some decor. We got some peanut butter here and some split Oreos, and what we're gonna do is just make an Oreo tower. And this is just the easiest way I thought of to make the body of the ghost while using the same ingredients that we already have. Plop that Oreo cream on top to give it a nice dome shape. Spooky, isn't it? No, not really, not at all actually. Alright, we got some fondant to make all our shapes. Brush some powdered sugar on the board. We're gonna start with white, roll that up into a ball, and just press down. Get that rolling pin, and we're just gonna roll out a nice even circle. Just like that, and you don't want it too thin or else it's gonna lose that 3D shape. Plop that onto our Oreo sculpture, and then just use your hands and add some artistic flares. That looks good to me. And now for the hardest part. We're gonna start with some black fondant to make the eyes. And I don't have any fancy cutters, so this is just my technique of how to make these shapes. Once I get my initial ball size, I just use my spatula and push downwards to make it perfectly flat into the shape that I want. Bam. Slide it off, and repeat. Shoo! And now the white fondant to make some tiny pupils and show off that dexterity of yours. To stick our shapes together, we're just gonna dab a little bit of water onto a chopstick and just apply a teeny bit, that's all we need. Slide them on. Teeny tiny extra pupils. And our eyes are done. This pink fondant is way too hot pink for me, so what I'm gonna do is just combine a little bit of that with a lot of bit of white. That's gonna give it a very nice pinky blushy color. This time roll tiny logs since blush is an oval shape. And same technique, push down very gently. And there we have our kawaii blush. Very thin log, roll that out to make our uwu smiley face. And I just use some tweezers here to make it a little bit easier to make the shape that I want. Boop, boop, boop. And using my fingers, I'm just gonna craft some real quick, cute hands. Oh yeah, she is looking splendid. Now we're just choosing a good side for the face. There, that's the one. Remember, a water chopstick for glue, and just carefully assemble all the parts. Carefully, carefully. Smile, you're alive. No, you're not. Look at those cute little hands, but they should be holding something. Here's a little heart that I crafted just for you. Seems she wants to give it to you though. Our final touch, Death by Oreo. And I think I'm gonna name her May. Yeah, that's a fitting name. May the Ghost. Back to our 12 out of 10 cheesecake, just a quick little model real quick, and May goes on top. The perfect little totem for this cake. She sure loves her new home. Too bad I'm about to destroy it though. It's just way too irresistible. Sadly, I messed up on cutting the bottom crust, so there's a little piece missing, but still gorgeous with all its flaws. Can't wait to take pictures with this slice. No! Ugh. Life is suffering. Yes. Oreo flavor, check. Cream cheese flavor, check. Sweetness balance, absolutely perfect. Not too sweet, just enough where it enhances all the ingredients inside, but not enough where it tastes way too sugary. The feeling of the spoon just gliding off the cake so easily feels amazing. The texture is a little bit thick, a little bit smooth, just enough thickness where you don't lose the body of the cheesecake, but you still get like a very pleasant, soft taste when you bite into it. And I know what you're thinking, this is not a Halloween recipe. I simply just made an Oreo cheesecake and slapped a kawaii ghost on top. You're right. But she is the definition of kawaii, cute, beautiful. I mean, I just love everything about her. This is just a little bonus though. The real recipe is this Oreo cheesecake. Everybody needs to know how to make an Oreo cheesecake. I mean, Oreo is the god tier cookie. It tastes amazing in everything. Especially, you gotta learn how to make it. And now you do. Yippee yippee. And this is actually my first time working with fondant, which was super fun. I had such a great time making her. Fondant is awesome. It's like clay but for baking. It has very similar properties, like the way that you can shape it and stuff. So I'm definitely going to be using it more in my future recipes, trying to make the most amazing cakes. And there you have it, the perfect no-bake Oreo cheesecake with my cutest, sweetest baby girl on top. Thanks for watching, and this is my first time making something like this, but I promise you, these recipes and creations are going to get 10 times better real quickly. So if you want to follow my progress, follow my recipes, be sure to subscribe, share, chop that like button, leave a comment, do all that. You know what to do. Arigatou gozaimasu. Peace out.
ふわふわる